It's going down
right here at Yes Media Academy Radio.
I love radio, music, and more.
Yes Media Academy Radio.
Excite.
The hits.
It's 12 o'clock from the studios of Yesma Radio, the First Media Academy Radio. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us on Global News. In the headlines, federal government warns Nigerians low COVID-19 cases shouldn't be misinterpreted for victory. Trial of ex-AGF Adoke resumes in Abuja. Makinde sacks commissioner, redeploys 2 others. On the foreign scene, face masks now compulsory in Paris, tourist hotspots and crowded areas. And in the world of sports, Fernandes penalty lit Manchester United past dogged Copenhagen. Now the news in detail. My name is Olatunde Ido. The federal government has warned Nigerians to remain vigilant as the nation intensifies the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. Addressing reporters in Abuja at the briefing of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, the PTF chairman, Boss Mustafa, warned that the country has yet to win the war against COVID-19. Mustafa, who is the secretary to the government of the Federation, said the government has over time ramped up testing, but there was more to be done to raise the quantum of tests per million. He said an analysis showed that 5 states still account for 60% of cumulative cases, and 689 out of the 774 local government areas have reported at least 1 case. The PTF chairman declared that 85 local governments in 20 states remain with no testing done and no case reported, while 50% of all the cases were in 20% of the nation's local government areas. He insisted that Nigeria has yet to reach the peak of the pandemic, but noted that the PTF was happy that many survivors were telling their stories and sharing them on social media. Nigeria confirmed 290 fresh cases of COVID-19, with the number of recovered persons now 33,346. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) latest figures in a tweet on its handle. Nigeria's new cases were confirmed in 15 states and the Federal Capital Territory (FCT), taking the number of infected people in the nation to 46,867. The NCDC latest data indicate that Lagos and the FCT reported the highest cases for the day with 82 each. Other states with fresh cases are Oyo with 19, FCT 18, Edo 16, Kaduna 15, Enugu 9, Ogun 9, Kano 8 and Kwara 8, Cross River 5, Ondo 5, Rivers 5, Ekiti 4, Imo 3 and Borno 2. The NCDC data further revealed that the disease has so far claimed 950 lives. State governors in the northeastern part of the country have identified some of the root causes of the insurgency ravaging the region. They stated this in Abuja at a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari to discuss ways to intensify the war against insurgency. The chairman of the Northeast Governors Forum, Babagana Zulum of Borno State, who led the governors to the villa, stressed the need for the Nigerian government to address the root causes of the insurgency. According to him, the insurgents are taking advantage of endemic poverty and hunger, among other challenges in the region, to recruit more members into their fold. Briefing State House correspondent at the end of the meeting, Zulum said one of the root causes is access to farmlands. People need to go back to their farmlands. People need to be resettled in their original homes so that they can start their means of livelihood. He also stressed the need for the federal government to work closely with the state and local government with a view to providing solutions that would end the crisis in the region. Governor Zulum, however, noted that the government was taking a bold step to ensure the best ways to tackle some of the challenges faced by people in the Northeast. Other governors present include Dairos Ishaku of Taraba, Umar Fintiri of Adamawa, Bala Mohammed of Bauchi, Inua Yaya of Gombe, and Maimala Buni of Yobe. Let's listen to Governor Zulum.
Told Mr. President that there is a need for the Nigerian government to address the root causes of the insurgency, which are not limited to endemic poverty, hunger, among others. One of the root causes is that of access to farmlands. People need to go back to their farmlands. People need to be resettled in their original homes so that they can start their means of livelihood. This is one of the reasons why the insurgents are recruiting more into the sects, and therefore creating enabling environment to the population to go about their normal duties will no doubt reduce the cases of insurgency.
The trial of former Attorney General of the Federation, Mohammed Adoke, has resumed in Abuja. The former AGF will be arraigned today alongside Aliyu Abubakar, who is a businessman, before Justice Inyang Eko of the Federal High Court. During the last sitting, the defendant pleaded not guilty to a 14-count charge filed against them bordering on money laundering. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, had in June filed an additional 7 charges against the former AGF over money laundering allegations involving about 400 million naira. Adoke's trial was expected to begin last week, but it was stalled due to the amended charges. The initial charge contained 7 counts, with 6 of them relating to Adoke. At the resumed trial, the prosecutor Bala Sanga informed the court of an amended charge he filed on July 29, which was served on all the defendants. The trial judge, Justice Eko, who frowned at the late filing of the amended charge, adjourned the trial on the ground that he is yet to cite the amended charges. In the former 7 counts, the EFCC alleged that the defendants committed the money laundering offenses involving over 400 million naira in Abuja in September of 2013. The Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, has sacked the Commissioner for Works, Infrastructure and Transport, Professor Raphael Afonja, in a letter dated August 10, 2020, and signed by the Secretary to the State Government, SSG, Olubaniwo Adeosun. The termination of Afonja's appointment takes immediate effect. In another development, the governor has also approved the redeployment of 2 commissioners, Bayo Lawal and Fumilayo Rishadeyi. The duo were asked to swap portfolios, while Lawal, the commissioner for special duties, was redeployed to the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. Rishadeyi, who was manning the ministry, now heads the Ministry of Special Duties. According to the memo issued by the SSG, the redeployment takes immediate effect. The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has reinstated 22 political parties deregistered by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Some of the parties reinstated by the court are Advanced Congress of Democrats, ACD, and Progressive People's Alliance, PPA. Their deregistration was reversed on Monday in a judgment prepared and signed by the President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Monica Mensem. In a unanimous decision, the court declared as illegal, unconstitutional, null and void the judgments of the Federal High Court upholding INEC's action deregistering the political parties. A four-man panel of judges led by Justice Shodipe Lukolo held that the deregistration was illegal because the due process was not followed. You're still listening to the global news coming to you live from the studios of Yesma Radio, going straight to the foreign scene. 288 more Nigerians have returned from the United Arab Emirates, taking the number of evacuees from the Arab nation to 2,641. The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission NIDCAM disclosed this in a tweet via its official handle on Monday. It explained that the evacuees arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport Abuja at about 11 a.m. Although the agency said the evacuees had tested negative to COVID-19, they will be undergoing a mandatory 14-day self-isolation in line with the guidelines issued by the federal government. Fuel tankers drivers under the auspices of the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, have suspended their strike in Lagos. The union took the decision following a meeting between its leadership and representative of the state government. A communique jointly signed by the Commissioner of Energy and Mineral Resources, Olalere Odushote, and the Deputy National President of NUPENG, Solomon Kilanko, was issued at the end of the meeting. It contains the 7 agreements reached by the union and the government, which led to the suspension of the industrial action of tanker drivers in the state. Both parties resolved that the state government will meet with the heads of all security agencies and secure their commitment to ensuring the free passage of petroleum products, given their importance to the economy. They also agreed to ask relevant government agencies to tackle the menace of area boys and establish a dedicated phone number within the next week to ensure that petroleum product transporters have prompt access to security agencies. The meeting resolved to investigate extraordinary levies by a particular local government and ask local government authorities to only collect legally due levies. And coming back to Oyo State, the Oyo State government says it will give automatic employment to all physically challenged persons who meet the requirements in the ongoing recruitment exercise of the Teaching Service Commission TESCAM. The special advisor to the governor on persons living with disability, Ayodele Adekambi, said this in Ibadan. Adekambi spoke with newsmen ahead of the computer-based test due to take place today at the University of Ibadan. He said the Seyi Makinde administration will continue to be magnanimous to all, especially persons living with disability, with a view to bringing succor to them. Adekambi also said that the state government will organize its own version of NPower program to further reduce the rate of unemployment in the state. And on the foreign scene, face masks become compulsory in tourist hotspot in Paris yesterday amid warnings of a resurgence of coronavirus cases as infections in the world's worst hit country, the United States, topped 5 million. The requirement came as France, along with much of Western Europe, sweltered in a heat wave with temperatures soaring over 35 degrees Celsius. The blistering heat sent crowds flocking to beaches at the weekend, despite health warnings about the risk of infection. In Berlin, thousands of children returned to school yesterday after the summer break, sporting masks with which are compulsory in common areas like school courtyards. Schools in some other German regions also reopened, though with different rules on face masks. In Pakistan, all restaurants and parks were allowed to reopen yesterday, as well as theaters, cinemas, and public transports, after the country saw a drop in new cases of several weeks. People in Paris aged 11 over are now required to wear the mask in crowded areas and tourist hotspots. Lebanon Premier Hassan Diab stepped down yesterday amid fury within and outside his government over the deadly Beirut port blast he blamed on the incompetence and corruption of a decade-old ruling class. He said, and I quote, "Today we are heeding the people and their demands to hold accountable those responsible for a disaster," he said in a televised address, blaming a corrupt political class that has ruled Lebanon for more than 30 years for the August 4 explosion. "This is why today I announced the resignation of the government," Diab said. Going straight to the world of sports, Bruno Fernandes scored a penalty in extra time as Manchester United scrapped past FC Copenhagen 1-0 on Monday in the quarterfinals of the Europa League, reshaped into an 8-team straight knockout tournament in Germany due to the coronavirus pandemic. The Portugal international notched his competition best 7th goal of the season as United sets up a semi-final clash against Sevilla or Wolves, joining Inter Milan in the last 4 following the Italian side 2-1 victory over Bayern Leverkusen in Düsseldorf. Speaking after the counter, an excited Manchester United coach Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said, "Third time this season we have been to the semis. Every competition we have been in. Delighted we have gone through. We deserved to win tonight," United manager stating there. And that ends the global news. But before I go, let me bring you a recap of the stories I brought to you earlier. Federal government warns Nigerians low COVID-19 cases shouldn't be misinterpreted for victory. Trial of ex-AGF Adoke resumes in Abuja. Governor Seyi Makinde sacks commissioner, redeploys 2 others. On the foreign scene, we brought you the news from Paris that face mask now compulsory in Paris tourist hotspot and crowded areas. And from the exciting world of sports, Fernandes penalty lifts Manchester United past dogged Copenhagen. The news was produced and edited by Prosper Abolade Shomi and delivered by Olatunde Ido. Many thanks for listening. The Yoruba version of Global News comes up immediately after this. Thank you for being there. Good afternoon.
Get the vibes and get the